Space weather date June 15, 2014. Prepared jointly by the U.S. Department of Commerce, NOAA, Space Weather Prediction Center and the U.S. Air Force. Updated 2014 June 14, 2200 hours UTC. Joint U.S. Air Force NOAA Solar Geophysical Activity Report and Forecast, SDF number 165, issued at 2200 hours UTC on June 14, 2014. Several regions on the Sun right now are fairly large and complex. The white light image to the left shows the sunspot groups, and when you look at SDOAIA/193 imagery to the right, you can see that these groups affect the overall brightness of the Sun. These regions continued to produce R1 minor radio blackouts due to flare activity overnight, but even outside of flare activity the overall X-ray emissions are increased. When the level of background X-ray flux rises as high as it is right now, some of the radio frequencies experience disruptions almost steadily until the flux levels decrease below a certain threshold. This can be due to a large region rotating around the limb or decaying and losing spots. Analysis of solar active regions and activity from June 13, 2100 hours UTC to June 14, 2100 hours UTC. Solar activity has been at moderate levels for the past 24 hours. The largest solar event of the period was a M1 event observed at June 14, 1929 UTC from the East Limb. There was a Type 2 radio sweep, estimated 396 km per second, with the flare, and a CME was later observed on emerging from the East Limb. There are currently 9 numbered sunspot regions on the disk. Geophysical activity summary June 13, 2100 hours UTC to June 14, 2100 hours UTC. The geomagnetic field has been at quiet to unsettled levels for the past 24 hours. Solar wind speed, as measured by the ACE spacecraft, reached a peak speed of 425 km per second at June 14, 1344 UTC. Total IMF reached 7 NT at June 14, midnight UTC. The maximum southward component of BZ reached -6 NT at June 14, 1216 UTC. Electrons greater than 2 MeV at geosynchronous orbit reached a peak level of 113 pFu. Geophysical activity forecast. The geomagnetic field is expected to be at quiet to active levels on June 15, June 16 and quiet to unsettled levels on June 17. Protons have a chance of crossing threshold on June 15, have a chance of crossing threshold on June 16 and have a slight chance of crossing threshold on June 17. Solar activity forecast. Solar activity is likely to be moderate with a chance for X-class flares on June 15, June 16. And expected to be low with a chance for M-class flares and a slight chance for an X-class flare on June 17. Solar flux 144 and estimated planetary A index 9. The estimated planetary K index at 2100 hours UTC on June 14 was 2. No space weather storms were observed for the past 24 hours. Space weather for the next 24 hours is predicted to be minor. Radio blackouts reaching the R1 level are likely. Space weather by the Australian Bureau of Meteorology. Saturday, June 14. Last updated June 13, 2322 UTC. Solar activity has declined to moderate, with just one M-class X-ray flare on 13 June. The solar wind speed remains light. An increase in low-energy proton flux suggests a glancing blow on 14 June from a slow CME produced on 10 June. At high latitudes, this could result in active geomagnetic conditions and periods of degraded HF communications. Currently, geomagnetic conditions are quiet and HF communications conditions normal. Shortwave fadeouts are possible due to continuing moderate solar activity. So far the space weather. Over 3 days is a new forecast.